Hi, welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, well, I thought I might as well talk about the Tamiya Vanquish. A lot of people have asked me to start doing some reviews on cars and giving my feedback on ownership and why you should buy them, why you shouldn't buy them. Are they a good beginner car, what they like to drive, what they like to maintain, and parts and things like that. Well, I was about to start changing all the screws in my mint Vanquish, and I thought, well, while I've got the cars out, I might as well have a bit of a chat, talk about this car and what I think after owning a few. Well, I've got 3 at the moment. I've got these 2. This is a mint, fully restored car, not quite finished. That's why I'm putting brand new screws in everything and replacing all the old hardware. This one is a runner that I'm restoring as well. Haven't finished painting the body yet, got stickers and things like that. That will be the runner. And then I've got one up here which I'm currently selling because no one should have 3 Vanquish ever. So what do I think about the car? Well, it's a love-hate relationship car. I hate it for it drives me crazy, and I love it because it's very beautiful and also it's a challenge to own. Do I think anybody who's starting out and looking to Tamiya as their first car, be that someone who's getting into vintage Tamiyas or vintage cars in general, or just getting into the hobby and wants an older vintage car, or someone who's had other kits from, say, Schumacher and Kyosho and stuff like that and think, oh, I'll get a vintage Tamiya for the first time. This is not for you. Do not get one of these. Why? Because you'll be put off and you'll be annoyed and frustrated. Parts insanely difficult to find. If you don't believe me, go to eBay, type in Tamiya Vanquish and look at all of 1 or 2 pages of tiny little pieces, and then 1 or 2 full cars that are really expensive, really expensive. As of today, which is, what is it, the 3rd or 4th of the month, I have this one up for sale, and it's the cheapest one on eBay UK, and it's up for £179 or something, and the others are at least another £50, if not £100 more than that one. I tried to price it at pretty much what it owes me, and it's one of those cars that's stuck at a price where everyone is trying to sell them at ridiculously high prices, and everybody looking to buy one doesn't want to pay that kind of money. So even though they're difficult to get hold of, there is some on there, but they're insanely expensive. And the reason is because parts are insanely expensive. Now I can prove that to you with these are Avanti bumpers. Now these are Avanti bumpers that come off of these cars. So if you want an Avanti bumper for a black or a 2011 or even an 88 original, not a problem. Hundreds of them on eBay. Super simple. Go on there, buy one, turns up. Same, it comes with the back bumper as well. Now you want a Vanquish bumper, which happens to be the bumper from the 2001 Avanti. Yeah, good luck with that. You just won't find one. If you find one, it will cost you a small fortune because they're not the same. If you look there, you'll notice they are a lot different. You may get away with fitting that one, but if you want the correct one, yeah, they're super expensive. I've got one mint one on here, not quite mint, but it's close. Why? Because these came out for the black and the Riri, so there's tons of them, and it happens that they drop back to the original one. But this bumper only came with the Vanquish and also only came with the 2001, so there is no new ones. They're only ones from when these came out. So even a bumper, to go from a scruffy bumper to a new one, especially when you're trying to restore a mint one, will cost you a fortune. So if you're looking to restore one back to mint, like this one, where I've changed the chassis, the bumper, the rear, pretty much everything, yeah, it's a challenge, a real challenge, and it's expensive. This one's got the original electronics in it as well. But the mechanical speed controller in this car is a slightly newer model, so I'm trying to find the original one, the one that's got the copper cable that goes round, and even they are really difficult to find. From a reliability point of view, these cars are terrible. I actually broke this car putting it down on a table, and it shattered the G11 part, which is the plate that sits around the back. And while I was setting this up to film, I noticed it's actually broken again, and the top of the gearbox mount has cracked. So I have to replace that. That was just sitting on the shelf and it's now cracked. Luckily I have a spare one. So super fragile, super difficult to get parts for. If you want an upright, or if you want a G11, or you want a front mount, yeah, they're like hen's teeth. Even the front shocks are actually hard to come by because they're only on 1 or 2 cars and they're super difficult to find. So if you have a damaged front shock, yeah. So when I bought this car originally, it actually came with high cap dampers on, which you think is fantastic, but they don't seem to work very well on this car. I'm not sure if these are the exact same, the correct upgrade ones or not. Plus I'm going to put these on the Astute anyway. So I took them off and I wanted to restore this back to standard. So I had to source my own suspension. So I thought, oh, that'll be easy. I'll just go online. Front, rears, not a problem. Fronts, yeah, nightmare, absolute nightmare. Wheels, if you want to go with the cream original wheels, which basically look like they were white, but then they went cream with age. That's not actually true. They came out cream in the first place. That's how they are. You will struggle to find these wheels. But there was a re-release version of the two, I'm not sure where they come from, but another car was released and they had the white versions of these. So you can put the white ones on, it will get you a little bit closer to box art, but of course white, cream, they're not quite exactly the same. So even they're hard to come by. Personally, I like the black. The black ones suit the car better and they're a lot easier to find because they're on lots of different cars. I've got quite a few floating around with those wheels on, and they're much easier to get. So if you're not bothered about having exactly the right thing and you want a slightly better look, personally I would go with the black ones or white ones, or if you really want to spend the money, go for the cream ones. From that point of view, what else can I tell you about these cars? Drivability wise, they're fantastic. They're lovely to drive and I can highly recommend them from that point of view, but you'll only drive it for 10 minutes before something will just randomly break. Now if what breaks is what comes from an Avanti, then it's not too bad, but if it's unique to this car or the 2001, it's gonna cost you to repair it. So much so, there's people that do 3D printing, and I managed to pick up a couple of parts from some guys that I talked to. So I have some sacrificial 3D parts. This is the G11 part. The original versions of these are really difficult to get, almost impossible, because there's like one per car. And because it's got this plastic tub chassis, this does not come from any of those. So that is it. So the original one, good luck. I think I've got 2 and I'm lucky enough, and I'm not letting them go for love nor money. The only one I'm giving away is the one that's perfect in the Vanquish I'm selling, because I should send it with the original. So these I'm going to swap out and put into one of these cars when I do a running video, because I'm desperate to do a running video for the show. So before I go and smash the original again, I will replace it with one of these, and then these are the front mounts because they break as well. So I've got 3 of each, so that when they break I can just swap them over while I'm creating a video. So you won't be doing a lot of driving with one of these cars before it breaks, but then they're getting on a little bit from that side. What else can I tell you about these cars? Bodies are easy to find from MCI aftermarket. Original ones, yeah, good luck with that. And stickers, now you can pick up original stickers, they're still floating around, but you're going to pay good money for them, so it's easier, £50, £60, or you can get the re-reads from MCI. Personally, the re-reads from MCI are pretty good, so I recommend going that way. The silver is bang on. The red is slightly different to the original vibrant colours. The original body up there has original stickers and it's more of a deeper red. This is more of like lighter sort of reddy sort of colour, but the stickers still look very good, and there's only those two colours really, so there's not lots of different colours, and the silver actually comes out really well, so you'd never know any difference between the silver and the silver of the originals. So save your money on there unless you're going really original. I have got a set of original ones which is going to go onto this body, because this body, believe it or not, is going to go on this car, and then this one is going on the runner, unless I mess up this body and it's not as good as this one, and then I'll put it on here. From that point of view, what else can I tell you about these cars? What would I rate them score wise? So from a drivability point of view, I give it a good strong 7. They are great to drive. From a reliability point of view, a good strong 2, I think, is where you want to go with that. So if you're looking for a hardened runner, if you're looking for a shelf queen restoration or something special to add to your collection, then definitely. Looks, I'd say it's a good 8. It's a very pretty car, very sleek. The colour scheme is actually quite nice, and I'm pretty sure you could do some lovely colours as well. And I think you could lift it more if you did more of your own colours than the box art. Box art is a little bit drab personally, but the shape is fantastic from that point of view. Parts, easy to very difficult to find certain parts. Arms and things like that, well, they're not too bad because you can pick them up because they're on other cars and things like that. Overall ownership, not for the beginners, definitely not. Only if you're a masochist. It will give you some, you put a lot of work in and a lot of money, but you do get something that's quite rewarding and satisfying. It's kind of on the par with the Porsche 959. Again, another car that costs a fortune for parts and will challenge you, and things break all the time, but you feel like you're actually working for it, and when you get it. What makes this more unique than the Avantis? Actually, this is probably a harder car than the Avantis, because there's so many parts that are interchangeable. It's easier to get hold of parts, where this chassis is unique. This tub plastic chassis is only in this car, hence why some of the parts are really difficult to get. So this is harder. So maybe you start with an Avanti first if you don't have one already, and then last you might want to edge into this kind of territory. So there you go. That's basically my roundup of a Avanti, not an Avanti. That's basically my roundup of a Vanquish. All I've done is talk about Avantis the last couple of weeks. So there you go. Make of that what you will. Now I'm going to spend the next 2 hours replacing all the screws in my Vanquish and fixing the part that's randomly broken while it's sitting on the shelf. And that pretty much sums up exactly what Vanquish ownership is like. But don't get me wrong, I have 3 of them. So if no one else buys them, I'll happily buy them. And I will be frustrated and happy at the same time. Anyway, thanks very much. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. The Vanquish.